And with that, we go live. Hello. This is Dirty 20 Gaming. My name is Kevin, and somebody may or may not have done a stripper. That's all that we need to know. That is a wonderful way to start. Thank you. Did I mention that this is an 18 plus show? If I didn't already, you're going to know now. All right, here we go. Perfect.
I just told her her face is now firmly in her blanket.
These amazing, wonderful, and marvelous people have agreed to come and play a game with me. But first, technicals. We are tonight playing Dungeons and Dragons. We're doing a version of the world at large. We are using Roll20 as our virtual tabletop, and the artwork was all done using Hero Forge to make the character art. We have a full crew tonight, so let's get to these peoples, and then let's get to this game, except for there's an announcement that I have to remember to make after the people. But first, the people. In the order that they are, I think. Yeah, they are. Let's start with Solar. How you doing? It's been, like, ages.
Feels like it. I know, right?
It has been.
I'm just super excited for tonight. I have had D&D withdraw since I haven't played since our last game.
Yeah, I know. What was supposed to be one night off last week turned into an entire weekend off, but so be it. Apparently I needed a break, so now I've had one. Let's go.
And I can't wait to help you out.
Oh, there's so much coming. That's the announcement that we're going to talk about after this. But first, let's do the rest of the announcements before I forget. Ruth playing Kane for us. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thank you for being here. Anything we missed everybody. I mean, it's been ages since we played. What have you been up to?
The usual work. I also may or may not be working on some maybe music things. I won't give out too much because I don't want to get anyone's hopes up.
That's okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, cool. We're very, very used to projects nobody can talk about around here.
Well, it's not that I can't talk about it. It's just like...
yeah, I get it. Speaking of projects we can't talk about, yes, you were next anyway. Sarah, how you doing?
Good. So besides having my YouTube channel of Tangor Productions, working on a project called Bravely Broken, and actually I do have something I can't talk about again.
Ta-da! Oh, the world of performers. I hate it so much. Thank you for joining us. Next, we have Bison, who brings us Bigford, and I'm going to try and keep those names straight. Next time, you cannot be on them. You cannot be, oh dear. Alliterative. That's the one I was looking for. Alliterative. You can't do that anymore. But thank you for joining us. What have you been up to?
I've been up to increasingly a lot, apparently. I've also normally I stream Tuesday nights. I keep saying 6, but it sometimes leans into 7, so I'll say 6-ish.
Yeah.
Last week I tried to play Fall Guys and it just wasn't doing it, so I switched to Warframe for a bit. I might do that again. It was fun, kind of relaxing.
Warframe, relaxing. I remember that from the ads. Next, joining us from distant places and parts of the far past, Noctum Sky. Thank you for joining us this evening. What have you been up to?
Howdy. I mean, the same old. I've got a YouTube channel. I post on it sometimes, trying to get more, there's a word for that. Consistent. There you go. But we'll get there one day, I'm sure. But yeah, you can go check me out over there on YouTube, Noctum Sky.
Please pop the link into chat so that folks can see it. And yes, you can also find all these people over on our Discord that somebody, thank you, Solar, popped up earlier. The Discord's one of the really nice places on the internet. I cannot say it enough. It is so supportive and wonderful. But before I get distracted, we got one more in a box by themselves, not because they were bad, but because I didn't do a new overlay. Rory, thank you for joining us this week. Share them links and tell us what you do.
Been working on actually a fair amount of remixes for a special project coming probably not soon, knowing my consistency, but it'll be on Spotify eventually.
Yeah, I'm sensing a theme between us all.
Yes, well, you know.
Yeah, and also
It's hard to be
we'll
creative on command.
we'll try and start posting more YouTube videos soon.
Mhm.
There's that.
Thank
And
you.
then let me put Spotify in chat too.
Please do.
Boom.
And that's the whole
And-
loop. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just music stuff that'll be coming eventually.
Cool. The nice thing about eventually is it means you've got something to talk about every week for a long time.
You see, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I'm his pseudo PA,
Yeah.
where I'm like, hey, you should work on some things.
Yes. Yes. So the lack of consistency across the board, at least, is consistently inconsistent. That's perfect. That's how art gets made, damn it. It does not get made on a schedule. Okay, speaking of a schedule, ours here at Dirty 20 is about to undergo some dramatic changes. I perhaps naively said, who wants to run a game here on Dirty 20? You want to run a one-shot, you want to run a short session, you want to run a full campaign. Who would want to do that? And so far it's 10 people and counting. And like I said, and counting, I've still got other people who are still interested. But what this means is there's going to be a lot more nights of shows coming up. We've only got one written in stone yet, and that is on August the 17th on a Wednesday. One of our very own is running a game for some of our very own and some new very owns that just joined today, who are coming along with the very own that is running the game. There, that made a lot of sense. So that's the first one, but there's a whole bunch coming. There are multiple offers to run long-running campaigns. There is multiple offers to do 3 to 10 show seasons, and I'm one of them. Maybe 2 of them that are already going on the days that I'm already doing this. And there is an equally, if not larger, number of people who want to do at least one shot. So stay tuned for major changes here on the channel and a vast uptick in the amount of output that's going out in a typical week. I am terrified is probably the first one, and then proud, and then terrified again a little bit. But this is going to work, but only because I am surrounded by amazing people who help me so much that several of them started helping me this afternoon before I even asked. So it's all kind of blowing up, and I think we might be getting kind of big here by accident. So let's let it happen. Let's see what happens. But with that, there is one new announcement. 6 days from today, we got a premiere. This one I've been looking forward to since I found this. This is a 1990, older than most of the people at this table, copy of Shadowrun campaign called Harlequin. And the Shadowrun system, unless you have 1,000 D6s, it's great fun, but it's a little dated, especially this version. This was Shadowrun 1. So what I have taken it upon myself to do is rewrite it using the Tiny Frontiers rulebook. So it's gotten slightly less serious, not much, but slightly less serious. But we're going to do a cyberpunk inspired by cyberpunk games and William Gibson and the cyberpunk authors of the 80s, because I was there. I have proof. That was 1990, and I'd been doing it for like 8 years by then. So, but yes, tune in on Saturdays for that for the next little while. What am I terrified of? That this is going to get so big that I'm going to have to be held responsible for my actions. That's what I'm terrified of, yes. Many people have a fear of failure.
Fear.
I have a fear of success. Leave me alone, to each their own.
That is extremely Canadian.
I know it's going to be fine. That does not stop the fact that when I stop and think about it for too long, it gets a little weird. But it's all going to succeed because of friends like the people in chat. Let's play some D&D before everything goes to shit here. Okay. This is basically what I wrote in the social media. So let's start with this. With 2 words and a tattered teddy bear. The party, because it was all of you, completely short-circuited what could have been a tremendously bad situation. Again, by being smart and playing characters true to themselves and playing that character for so long and so well that when it happened, it was just like, yes, this is happening. But you now stand. Remember, my giants are taller than most giants. So these are storm giants. They're the tallest of all the giants, and I made them even taller. So this is like a 30-foot tall giant standing like this with it. Because I did the math earlier today. You'd be about, oh no, wait a minute, that was me. You'd be about that big. Maybe a little tall, about that big in the palm of their hand. In the palm of a princess storm giant's hand. Sarissa. Around you, the room has frozen. I'm also assuming that the rest of the party is pretty much frozen as they see this, because Idicus just walked out into the middle of it. Yeah, even peeking over this, not even up the last stair yet of the staircase.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the stairwell, heading down. Okay, it was nice knowing you guys. Bye-bye. To each their own. It's been nice knowing you.
Guess we're doomed. Bye.
Yeah, and then you hear a laugh. Idicus gets picked up. There is stirrings in this room. The 4 giant diplomats into various stages come up out of their chairs. Some of them all the way up to standing. Some of them sort of kind of up and then back down again. As a rough rule of thumb, the further northwest they are, the more outrageous the action is. So Val is up with his hands on the arms of the chair. Tartha is in the next one, kind of almost standing. Helen Hild has leaned forward, and Braxau has just leaned back and crossed their arms. None of the responses are good. None of those. You guys see the names?
No.
Okay, here we go. Val, Tartha, Helen Hild, and Braxau. 4 different giant lords.
This guy up here.
Oh, those ones, there's that one and this one down here are storm giant guards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they probably didn't even move at all.
The guards just their eyes just because they, to be honest, right now they've got to be thinking, oh good, because if Sarissa had decided that you guys had gotten in past the guards, their day probably would have gone poorly, to put it mildly. But they get to live because charming is as charming does. I just want to paint the rest of the room before I let you guys go nuts, because I don't want to push this, but I want to paint the rest of the room. Right behind you, Idicus, you're on the palm. Right behind you is a hulking crab. This thing is, 10 meters long, 4 meters high, and it's being played basically like a steel drum by the 2 giant sisters. They're clearly sisters. They're very different, but you can just tell. You can also tell they're related to Sarissa. They must be her younger sisters. And that's the northern one is Miran. You wouldn't know these names, but I'm just going to give them to you. The southern one is Nim. They are right behind you now. The song has stopped, and you can hear the crab sort of breathing. It's that quiet in here. Sarissa's just looking at you and smiling. I want to save Idicus's response for the last. I want to do a closest to furthest, because this is like closest to the potential end of the world right now, the apocalypse, and all the way back to furthest away from that. So starting with Cain, you see this 30-foot princess, clearly a princess, like crowned, the whole thing, holding your little tiny friend Idicus up in the palm of their hand. This room that was already full of diplomatic tension is just creaking, waiting to explode. You're completely exposed on the edge of this ledge. You're about 20 feet up. So you're sort of 6 feet tall. So you'd be looking, if you look straight across at Sarissa, because she's standing on the lower level, you'd be looking her sort of there. So you're almost at eye height with this princess. Everything else on the layer that you're at, the other 2 and the crab just tower above you. What do you do?
She's gonna, with whatever is in her that knows how, she's gonna politely bow,
Yeah.
and having heard Idicus say Fred
Yeah.
in a language that she's probably heard a lot before,
Yeah.
but doesn't speak,
Uh-huh.
she's going to try to mimic the way Idicus said Fred.
Yeah. Yeah, you've heard it lots. Yeah. You say, give me a performance check. Why not? Let's play some D&D. Let's pretend
what
we're
I
playing a
thought.
game. Yeah. Let's roll some dice. Pretend there's a game going on. Instead of just a story. Let me know if you've rolled it, because it hasn't come through on Roll20 yet.
I have.
Okay. What was it? Oh, there it is. A 20. Excellent. Yes.
Dirty 20.
Spectacular. A dirty 20. Great way to start the day. You mimic it perfectly. The difference is where you're standing, you get an echo. So it's Fred, 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 Fred. And it just kind of takes forever to bounce back and forth around this room. Varen or Vereth next? No, it's Varen next, right? You're closer.
I'm far away, I believe. I'm all
Yes,
the way
yeah,
back
you're
here,
still
right?
you never left the stairs. So yeah, Varen. Yeah, oh Verath, sorry, Vereth. God damn it, I did it already. You guys told me I was gonna, and that's why I did. Vereth, what do? You see that and hear that. It's still echoing around. Fred, 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 Fred. You are also clearly visible on the edge of this room.
He's just he takes the kind of like he's been using his glaive as a bit of a walking stick, so he like plants into the ground and takes a knee and tries to just be as formal as possible in front of these
Okay.
massive people.
Yeah, give me a performance check, sure. Unless you're lying, in which case give me deception. He said, trying to stoke a fire that doesn't exist. You guys are smarter than that. Look at that, 23. Look at, oh man, I forgot all these people are all these people are charisma based, right? So yes, you drop into the pose, and it's I don't know if it comes natural or not, but you nailed it. Like, whether you're used to seeing people do it to you or you doing it to other people, whatever it is, you got it absolutely right. You kind of get down there and freeze in position. And as you kind of lock, you realize that nothing in this room has moved except for you guys. In fact, you physically taking a knee is the first movement that's happened in this room since this happened. There were words spoken, but nobody's moved. Bigford, you're right next to them. What do? You're right at the top of the stairs.
Bigford is keeping his furry ass parked. What he's actually doing is he's not on the top of the stairs. He's hanging off the ledge of this part here.
Yep.
So he's literally just sort of peeking his head over, and he's like not moving. He does give himself a second to cast message to Beowulf, and it's just a quick question of he said Fred, didn't he?
Beowulf?
Because he doesn't speak
Beowulf.
giant.
Yeah.
Beowulf does speak giant,
Exactly. That's why he asked.
and he's just gonna like hang his head once he hears the message and like, yeah, interesting.
It worked again, didn't it?
Yeah, lucky little bastard.
He's gonna slowly pull himself up.
Okay, I was just going
And
to ask you for a stealth check, but that's not performance. That's not necessary if you're going to expose yourself.
Yeah, he's gonna stand beside Kane.
Step up beside Kane. Bow or no bow?
He is as formal as a rock. He is
Okay.
not bowing. He doesn't know what the fuck all this human bullshit is.
Can Kane, Kane's
Yes.
just gonna like move him into a bow,
Just sort of nudge him.
just subtly like
Yeah. There's that dance instructor way to get to move people. You understand
Yeah.
where the pivot points are, and you just sort of do this. Oh, I'm doing that now, am I? Yeah.
Elbow him in the ribs real quick.
Okay, so you get him to bow. Do you resist, Bickford?
No, he just sort of goes with
Did
it,
it,
kind
okay.
of just like, yeah,
We do this
okay.
now.
I'm doing this wrong. Okay, got it.
Having said that, Kane, do you then bow alongside them? Or do
She
you go back to
did bow
vertical?
already.
Oh, you
but
did? Okay.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Okay, so you've already done the bow and stand. Right, okay, because you've already had a turn. Gotcha. Beowulf. Nobody's moving but you guys in this room still.
The Fred's still echoing.
It just starts to fade away now because it's so, yeah, just Fred. And there's now this silence where you can hear 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 giants and a crab breathing.
Shuffling of bugbear claws on the floor.
Yeah, yeah. You look at the crab and it looks like it's trying to be a turtle. It does that thing where it starts pulling in all its legs and tucking in its pincers and it's just trying to shell up.
They stopped playing me. Am I in trouble?
I'm in danger. Is what I was thinking. But yeah. So Beowulf, what do you do?
I'm just trying to figure that out.
All right, we can sneak away for a second. Back on the stairs. Varen.
So I'm standing on the top step. Is that what I'm to understand?
If that's what you want to,
That's what it
or
looks
you want to
like.
be a step down, whatever you like.
I'll say I just pulled up onto the top step.
Yep.
Heard this happening.
Okay.
I was midway pulling Gary up that last step. And there's just a very mechanical, just like finishing of pulling while trying to move as least as possible. And then it's just standing. It's like, I don't know these people.
Yep.
I don't know what's happening. I'm ready to push this zombie out the doorway while I run down the stairs. That's the vibe I'm putting out right now.
All right, so a zombie enters the picture. There was a reason I waited for this one last. A murmur. It is no longer silent in here. A murmur starts again. Those of you that speak giant, actual giant swear words openly from this one, from Val. Again, the response kind of goes down the scale here. This one is just muttering to themselves. This one is shaking their head disapprovingly, and this one at the bottom is almost starting to laugh. So they've now sat back in their giant shell and they're with their arms crossed and starting to go. These are all trained diplomats here in the castle of the storm giant king, Hecaton. And his daughter has just adopted a bunch of little people. Val.
I'm trying to be serious, not laugh.
I can understand why the big stone giant's laughing. No, I get it now.
Yeah. This one stands up and steps forward and places his huge hand on the side of this pool, this golden pool, and scans you like he's squinting, like he's trying to see bacteria. And he turns to Sarissa and in Giant, of course. Who speaks Giant? Show of hands. Only the two of you? Okay. So, Idicus, you're in the palm of the hand, and Beowulf, you're standing on the edge. You hear that Giant bellow out, "How dare you allow them in here?"
Okay, now it's time for Beowulf. Needed a good spot, sorry.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just going to be standing there with this scowl on his face. He's not very happy. He's not really very wanting to be around these giants either, especially since at one point they were his chosen enemy.
Yes, they were. Yep.
At any rate, he will cross his arms like this
Yeah.
and just emit a low growl from the deeps of his throat.
Give me, with advantage, an intimidation check. I mean, you're not going to scare them away. I just want to see if you make them shiver.
Oh,
Okay, it's going to echo too.
While this is happening,
Yeah.
Kane's just gonna look over like, what are you doing? There's no emotion behind this, but
Yeah, just
what are you doing?
Bigford whispers
15.
back, Bickford whispers back, "He doesn't have a good history with giants."
Beowulf, you start the growl, and it's sort of, it's you've sort of recently, you've only recently taken this particular form, so it comes out. It's kind of forced until you let it, and you let that hunting spirit out, and it turns into a little more than I mean, you got a 15, so it wasn't perfectly successful. But instead of going not far enough, you kind of went a little too far. Instead of just growling, it turned into the very start of a hunting howl. So it's kind of, and then you choke it back, because if you finish that, that's an announcement of war, right?
Kane, just back to Bigford Whisper.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like we're also trying not to die here. And, I mean, we did know we'd be going into a giant's castle. I understand, but...
Anybody else who hasn't had a say yet? So, Varath.
Vareth, he's just going to kind of like very gingerly get out of his position and shuffle over and just like, Bickford, right? Is this normal for your group? I didn't know. I don't know what you guys do.
Idicus has a way with people. It's really hard to explain until you've seen it in action. But yeah, this happens a lot.
Varen, you're now sort of the only one who hasn't stepped out openly into this room.
And I will remain so.
Okay.
Yeah, that next step down is looking better and better. So I'm just firmly lodging myself there, poised for a bad outcome.
With Gary beside you still?
Yeah, Gary is in front of me. So yeah, the moment shit hits the fan, it
undead
is
shield.
shove and run in plate
Gotcha.
armor downstairs.
Absolutely. Clank, 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 clank. Down giant-sized stairs. So, yeah. I just
Like a
pictured
very
that. Like
angry
3 feet
Slinky.
tall and in
Barrel
armor,
roll.
3-foot steps. Just bang, 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 bang. Yeah. Oh, it would be ugly, but it would be fast. But you would die. Anyway. Don't ride the banister. Why? The G's. So, Varen, you stay at the back. Out of still technically... Actually, give me a stealth check. You're trying to hide behind an undead. They've certainly seen the undead.
All right, let me ask you this, my dungeon master. Since I'm
Yes.
not moving, do I have to do it with disadvantage in
No.
plate armor?
No.
Cool.
Good thinking.
Let's do that. That is stealth. I haven't done one of these ever.
Oh, stealth
hardly,
for you. Considering your class, I'm surprised there's a button for it. You know?
right? I guess I'll just do normal.
As soon as you buy plate armor, stealth should just get a line
That's
drawn
an
through it.
8.
An 8. So yeah, you clank, 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 clank. You're sitting very still, but you got to get to still from standing there, right? You pulled him up, clank, 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 and then you get behind him, clank, 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 clank. And the room is so quiet. Yeah.
Beowulf's tail is like wagging, like the dog.
That dog thing,
there
that
in
low,
anger,
yeah.
like, thing.
Yeah.
As I know what happens here. As that's happening, some pebbles from his tail kind of clang against it.
It works too, yeah. That
brushes
combined
away
with the fact that
the
there was a
rocks.
zombie standing, a human-sized zombie standing at the top of the stairs with a plate armored figure trying to hide behind it. Yes. Yeah, you've been seen. Let's just put it that way. But so far, nobody's reacted. Sarissa ignores all of you for the moment, except for making sure that their hand stays up so Idicus doesn't fall. They do that thing where just the head turns, and they turn and look at Val, and they scan them up and down, and say, "In my court?" And everybody's eyes go away from you to him. And you can see him start to sweat. And I mean, giant sweat drops. They're like, this big coming down the side of their head.
It's a bucket.
I meant, no. And he just starts backing up. And she's immediately, "Did I give you permission to move?" And he stops. And he starts to bow. "Did I give you permission to bow? Sit down." And he slams himself back into the chair. She reaches out with Iticus and puts you on the hulking crab. And one eye stalk comes out and looks right at you. And it does that weird, what's it called? The lid.
Blink.
No, there's a lid and then there's a clear lid underneath it
Like
that amphibians
clear,
have.
yeah.
Oh, I used to know what it was called. Shit.
Like the weird thing they
Sclera?
do with it, like to lubricate the eye.
Whatever it is. Anyway, it's got one of those, and you see that it just goes. They're transparent, but they're like an inner eyelid, and it goes, so it clears the little sort of
Rillets?
slime off of it, and just looking right at you, this big sort of weird shaped crab eye, hulking crab eye. What was that?
Brills? Brilles?
I don't think that's not the
What
word I was
snakes
thinking of.
have.
Oh, okay. That's not what I was thinking of, but thank you. But yes, so they reach over and just put you down on top of the crab, and turns around, doesn't move one step, and just stares and stares and stares. Interrupt if you want, but this is a princess who just said this is her throne room, or her court, by the way. Hint, hint. Just stares at him for a while and then says, "Leave." "Do you mean to my rooms, madam?" "Leave!" And he pulls out his conch. Gone.
He honked his conch.
He honked his conch and disappeared. Yep. She turns to the other three one at a time, just dunk, 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 and just watches the first two just... This one just sits back down. They were just barely standing. They sit back down and stop muttering. This one stops looking disapproving and sits back down as well. The one at the bottom here is all but giggling. And when Sarissa looks at them, they just look back like, what? And she chooses to ignore them and turns back to the group of you. She reaches out kind of, without thinking, her hand comes back out. Iticus?
Walk back out on it.
The crab is just like a little periscope and then gets sucked back down inside the shell. Sarissa looks at the rest of you and says, you might as well come in. In fact, let's continue this in the throne room, shall we? And the other giants, like, they clearly have not been invited. They're still waiting out here in the court. None of them have been invited into the throne room. And she just invited all of you in. And she looks back into the staircase and she says, you can bring your friend.
I think he's talking to you. I whisper to Gary.
Yeah. I'm glad you made the joke because I was going to if you didn't. Yeah.
And yeah, I'll get him to walk ahead of me. And I'll hold his hand.
Right. Bigford, I saw you bolting down the... I did it again. Beowulf, I saw you bolting down the edge there. I was about to take you guys basically to another room. Did you have a plan? Actually, this works too.
Trying to position himself to possibly intervene if some violence started happening, or so he can get a better look and not have to drop down 20 feet in order to get down to the bottom.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
Just be in the tank.
Yeah, just be in the thing, doing the thing. All of you, after reboarding Iticus without having to go through security, Sarissa turns to the rest of you and says, yes, then, to the throne chambers, and she kind of grins and says, in your own time, of course. And she looks at her guards, the two storm giant guards, and says, don't let anyone interfere. And they sort of, snap even more to attention than they already are. And she just turns and with Iticus in hand, just starts walking. And they're giant, so they're all but gone in a matter of seconds. In fact, I'm going to take the two of you. Iticus, for a moment, you're just kind of, whoa, and suddenly you're moving at full giant walking speed, like 80 feet, 100 feet per turn, just whoosh.
I'll just, like, sit down, cross-legged.
Yeah, she sort of cups her hands and gives you fingers to hold on to like you're on a sled. Yes, yeah. But does so with absolute majesty and dignity and swooshes through this room. As you go between these other giants, you're looking down at creatures that are 20 and 25 feet tall. Their eyes are as big as you are, but they're way down there. This is like a little kid getting a shoulder ride. You know, you're way, way up here. And you see as you're heading south 2 more giants, but they're just little. They're only hill giants, the dumb ones. They hardly stumble out of the way in time before Sarissa and you blow through into the throne room, which I have put you there by yourself for. And I'm going to leave you there for a second as you head into that room. You see 2 people. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm going to do an introduction. As you head into that room and head towards the throne, just going to move you close enough, you see 3 thrones. In the center, clearly a magical throne. It's floating about a foot off the floor. At the base is made out of 6 crystalline dragon skulls. And sitting on that is a throne fit for and built for the king of the storm giants, and therefore the king of all the giants when the ordning is running. In the 2 chairs on the side, there are 2 sort of mortal thrones. You know, there's nothing magical about them, you can tell. On this side, there's another storm giant. They look older, and I mean, the picture doesn't really do them justice. They look older and sort of very ceremonial, and they're sitting there in their robes and judging. As Sarissa walks in, they've got that sycophantic smile until they see you, and then it's kind of like, oh. In the other chair, I want an insight check.
13 and 27.
13. Not yet. Okay. So, yes. In the other chair, a pale blue woman is the best way to describe it. Blue hair, blue skin, blue dress. Everything is shades of blue. Even the eyes, even the whites of the eyes are very pale blue, and the centers are darker, and then the pupils themselves aren't black. They're the darkest, darkest blue. Those 2 sit in these side thrones and smile sycophantically, but clearly hating you at the same time. Meanwhile, in the other room, the princess is gone. The 2 storm giant guards are sort of looming about the place. The 3 remaining diplomats sit in their spaces, not knowing what to do. You can see them looking at each other like, I don't know the protocol. I don't know the protocol either. I don't think there is a protocol for this. You know, they're sort of... and except for the one at the bottom right, they're still giggling. They're enjoying this in every way, shape, or form. But the 2 sisters go back to playing the crab. The crab slowly comes out of its shell. What did the group of you do? Beowulf, you're kind of the closest. You start.
He's gonna run.
Yeah, run out of here. Is there? Let's just, in that case, let me just put it this way: is everybody going?
Yes.
Okay.
Kane is going as fast as she can.
Okay. Yep.
Bickford's doing his kind of sneaky bugbear rogue thing, and when he goes, he kind of like takes a peek. You know, just goes like that.
Takes
Looks
a look
around.
in there. Yeah.
You know, just it doesn't. You know, he sees that that's a stairwell.
As you get to,
You know.
as you sort of get to this opening, you hear, as you go to look through, you hear one of the storm giant guards go.
Yeah, and then you see that Bickford just sort of like this little hop and is quickly
Yeah, he's,
walking the other
okay.
way.
Yeah. Like that.
No, we're good.
You're like the dog that found the invisible fence. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yep, okay, we're good. Yeah, that's as far as I need to go.
He
Yeah.
keeps a wide berth around the fire giant,
Yep,
given recent events,
yep.
and yeah, just sort of follows Kane down.
I'm just gonna grab the rest of you if that's all right.
Yeah.
And
Close
maybe,
enough to the dude who was
Oh, okay.
laughing
Yep.
to for him to hear her.
Yes, of course you
She's just gonna go ha ha ha. Ends it.
can. Kind of
Did I
looks
move
down.
my character?
I'm just gonna grab. Yeah, you should be able to. Somebody has. Haven't you not moved? I do not see.
I'm just checking to see if I moved myself. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Somebody did. I'm just going to grab these last two and move them down here. I know you didn't move through the middle of the room. I'm just moving you down.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to,
Yes.
as we were about to leave,
Yes.
once we have gotten out here and there's a moment of revelation of realizing that you're not going to die immediately.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of confidence back, and I'll kind of turn to, I got to remember our names, Vareth, and I'll be like, I think I know how to do this. And I'll turn to one of the guards and I'll be like, hey, can we get a ride, please? We get a ride. Us two, we got to go there, and I'm not walking that far.
Give me a persuasion check at disadvantage because you don't speak giant.
Oh, right. Oof.
So you just start sort of caroning at them in a language they don't understand.
Charisma check
It's
with
charisma based, and you're one of these. So yeah, you'll probably do well anyway. Who are we kidding?
Well, I can't remember how to make. There it is. It's that button. I was like, why can't I remember how to make
yeah.
a charisma check? There's one. There's two.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's a 5.
That's too bad because that 19 was looking good for a second.
I
They're
know.
going for it. They're going for it. Oh no, they're not. That's how giants frown. The guard says, "I'll give you a trip there on the end of my boot."
I've got a way across. It's all good. And Vareth will just sprout these like giant black bony wings from his back and just quickly zip across the center of the room.
Gary watches you fly away, and nobody's looking at Gary because they're a zombie. Nobody ever looks at NPCs. They go and just start to walk and follow you. Just decided.
The zombies always more animated when nobody's looking.
I just wanted to add that Kane, when she did the laugh back at the dude,
Yes.
she was waiting for him to look at her,
Yeah.
and then she went by.
Yeah.
So she like grins
Yep.
and then blasts.
He grins at you, and why not? Let's do a thing. Let's use something from here. What am I going to use? Where is it? Oh, it's never here when you want to find it. Okay, I know what it is. He grins at you, reaches into his tunic, and pulls out what for him is a vial this big. And he tosses it towards you, and as it comes towards you, it starts to shrink. And as it gets you, you just reach out and plunk, and it lands in your hand. It's a potion. I'd be very surprised if you saw it before. But give me an Arcana check. Even if you're not proficient. Just a chance. And if you want, the others can look at it too. But for right now, Beowulf, you're the only one that's got it. So.
Beowulf or?
Sorry, Beowulf. Sorry, I was writing and thinking at the same time. Damn it.
You actually got it right this time.
Did I? Yay.
Yeah. Bickford can't speak giant, so he'd just be like, it's a potion.
Yeah.
14.
Where is it? Okay. 14. Kane, yeah. You look across and you saw the color of it when it was this big and coming down and shrinking as it came. Let me find it. There it is. I want to see what the official description is. Pale white liquid made from the tongue of a giant clam with a pungent aroma akin to that of rotting algae. It makes perfect sense for a storm giant thing. You see that what Beowulf has in their hand is a potion of giant size.
Didn't he throw it to me?
Oh, sorry, you. Sorry. Ruth.
That's what I
No,
kept
got the
saying.
name wrong again. God damn it. All the names are wrong. It's so hot in here. I need AC. I'm dying. Oh.
Potion of
ABC.
embiggening.
Okay, here we go.
Damn.
Kane. Yes, all of that happens to Kane. Sorry. Tosses you the potion.
I was confused for a moment.
Oh, you could watch the replay. I was confused. I thought I was in a completely different scene. Anyway, yes, they throw you the potion. You look down and look at it. It is a potion of giant size. If you take this, you will become huge for 24 hours. For the duration, your strength becomes 25 and your hit point maximum is doubled. In addition, the reach of your melee attack increases 5 feet, so you now have a 10-foot reach when you take this potion. Everything you are carrying and wearing also increases in size for that full 24 hours. When you're rolling damage for weapons that are enlarged, roll 3 times the normal number of dice. When the effect ends, any hit points you have above your hit point maximum become temporary hit points, so you keep them.
Holy shit.
Is that until a rest?
It's 24
24 hours.
Right.
That is
Oh
a-
my god.
Yeah,
Kaiju potion.
yeah. He flicks that
So
to
how
you.
about my spells? Because those are
It wouldn't.
It wasn't
Because
affect
they're
those at all.
attacks.
Nope. You would just now
Okay.
be. You'd just now add punch to your spell list. Punch with strength of 25, and a dagger that even your dagger now does 3d4 instead of 1d4, plus your strength bonus, which is plus 8, because it's yeah. So yes, that's what lands in your hand, and he looks down at you and just kind of, you can see him question himself, like, why did I do that? That's nuts. And he looks around to make sure that the princess didn't see him. He shrugs. And as you walk past, he drops back into his chair, the arms crossed again, and you see him turn to look. He's watching the other 2 diplomats. He wants to see what's going to happen when everybody leaves the room. So he's still very much in spectator mode.
I like this guy.
He's not like this in the book.
I also like this guy.
He's not like this in the book, but the one in the book is boring, so I fixed it. As you finally get,
I want to add a little bit of character.
Please do.
Here in a moment.
Yep.
As Beowulf passes between these 2 here,
Yeah.
he's just gonna give little rude gestures as he's walking by.
Braxow, the other one that's already laughing, just laughs even harder, and he says something. Do you speak giant? You do, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You hear, what is it they did to you? I'll bet you it's funny when they're 6 feet long. I think it was it. Oh yeah. And he does this to the other 2 giants, except these are like as big as you are, right? Just, one at each of them. And he is clearly, I mean, as much as the other 2 are sort of, got armor and flames and all this stuff, and he is acting at least as though he could handle the 2 of them with one hand tied behind his back.
Love this guy.
And you leave the room. As the 5 of you get to the southern doors, the 2 guards have returned their positions, and they're standing there with their giant clubs in hand, guarding the doors. Stop! You must have an escort. I said it right this time, right? The other one says escort. Yes, I said it. Okay. You must have an escort.
Hearing this is gonna very politely walk up to her new best friend and kind of just get his attention, and looks over and just
they look at you and go, food? You have food?
Beowulf walks over and says, "We need some help getting in."
You can't come in. You don't have skort. No, I got it wrong that time.
I think you was talking to Braxa.
Yeah.
Oh, he looks up. He says, oh, the short-term memory twins are at it again, are they? Get out of the way, you fucking morons! And they just burst to the side, grabbing a door each on the way. The doors slam open, and the 4 of you.
she nods as a thank you.
And you proceed into the room.
Beowulf
I'm just going
just
to take you
says-
through the door and then
just
let you
like-
go. So, yeah. Now you guys are on your own again. Yeah, go. What was that, Beowulf?
He just, well, as they're leaving and getting it and going through, he just says, "She said thanks." He just walks off. I mean, he's still kind of perturbed, but he's gonna be kind to that one because that one's been kind to his party. So yeah.
Yep. All right. We're going to
Kane
cut
just
back.
looks to Beowulf and goes,
Just as you
"Thank
guys...
you."
Yeah, sorry, go ahead. Can you repeat
Kane
that?
just
thank you,
says thank you to Beowulf.
Okay. As you walk through the door, we're going to quickly cut back to Idicus and Sarissa. Just before you came in, Sarissa swooshes across the room with the most regal of grace. Idicus, almost like a candle holder, just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. She's tipping you so that the G's keep you in her palm as you move. It's beautiful considering she's 30 feet tall and weighs 7 tons. It's just the amount of silk and lace hanging off of her could cover a castle, right? I mean, this is a giant we're talking about, a giant princess. And she blows across the room around this pool in the middle. And you see the pool is swirling slightly, and it must join to somewhere because it's not just standing water. It swirls and goes somewhere. And she just swooshes up here and sits on the throne with you still in her hand. And her other arm, she's got her scepter of power. And as she sits down, you see it go, and it kind of glows for a second. And the throne that you're in goes, the same color, and raises up about another foot. It's charged up. For just a moment, Sarissa looks left and right at her 2 assistants, her 2 advisors, and says, "Well," and she looks at the one to her on the right-hand side of the screen, this one over here. She says,
Soggy
"Well,
boy.
go ahead and say it." Interrupt at any time.
I said soggy boy.
Soggy Boy and the Grump, the 2 giants at the bottom. They're Tug and Cog. But anyway, she looks at this one.
Okay.
She looks at this one here and says, "Well, you might as well go ahead and say it." And he just looks back and kind of thinks 3 times about it and goes, "I daren't, Your Majesty." And which is just that close to saying it. It's as close as you can get to being rude, but he is clearly referring to this tiny, tiny person she has in her hand. You turn and look the other way, Idicus, as Sarissa turns and looks at the lady in the other seat. Give me another, actually this time give me a history check with advantage, because you're close now. 16.
Yeah.
16. She smells similar, not similar. She smells like exactly the opposite of sulfur and a cave and a volcano and an ancient red dragon. Exactly the opposite. Diametrically opposed. The opposite.
Okay. Unfortunately for Atticus, that's not going to mean anything.
Nope. Sarissa looks.
Doesn't even have a nose.
Yeah. But that, I know that, but there's, I still gave it scent because that's a goblin thing, and I wanted to go primal with it. So goblins have noses. I wanted to get right into Idicus. I don't care about the machinery on the outside. Just a magic journey. Hasn't anybody figured that out yet? There's freaking giants and dragons.
Magic nose.
So Sarissa looks down at this advisor and says, I'm really surprised you don't have anything to say. And she turns and looks Sarissa right in the eyes and says, "Oh, I wouldn't dare, dear." She does not call her Your Highness or express any sort of sign of respect. She calls her dear and gets away with it. Sarissa looks at you, Idicus, and says, "Your friends are very slow."
little. When you're little, you don't move fast.
Oh, I should have had them carried. Oh, here they are. And the doors slam open with tug and cog on them. And now tug and boat. Now I like that much better. Yeah, they were tug and boat. So yeah, they slam the doors open and the rest of you burst into the room and kind of down these major steps. Think of this as like the seats in a coliseum, like a Roman coliseum. It's 5 steps and then down and then 5 steps and then down. And it's 10 feet wide, these steps, and they're down 3 feet, each one of them. You guys are spreading around the room as you are. What are you doing as you walk in? You see these 3 sitting at the front. I need history checks from everybody as you come into view. An amphitheater, that's the one I was looking for. Thank you. I really don't function well in the heat. I've got to get a fan. Anyway, history checks. There it is. There's a 22. That makes sense. Sniffy figured it out.
17.
17 is also very good. Yeah, both of you figured this out. Oh, all 3 of you figured this out.
20.
Wow.
Not 20.
Let's start with the 17. Bigfred. There's a waft of wind, and this place smells like seaweed and salt water, right? It smells like the Vancouver harbor, which people are like, oh, I love the smell of the ocean. And all I can smell is dead fish and rotting seaweed, but apparently that's
Low
a good thing.
tide.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm not a coastal boy. I'm a mountain boy. Leave me alone. Bigford, that blue-skinned person up there is not what they seem to be. They are you can tell from the way they're sitting, they look too awkward. This is not their natural form. Verath and Beowulf. Verath, you see it. Beowulf, you smell it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a dragon. To be specific, with 22, why not? 2 22s. That's a blue dragon.
Interesting.
At least
Sparky boy.
adult blue dragon. Who just called the princess Deer. Go ahead and keep moving.
About this one.
Go ahead and move yourselves around the room all you like. But what would you like to do? Yeah.
After kind of like settling into his spot and taking everything in, just like very quickly, oh fuck. As he realizes what he's in the presence of and just kind of like slightly shrinks down a little bit.
To be
what are
fair,
these
an adult princess storm giant is probably pretty close to a handful for an adult dragon. Remember the last one you guys ran into was an ancient, so
Yeah.
the CR-23, that's an ancient. This is probably only a CR-19 or 20.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, you're fine. There's lots of you. You'll be good.
Mhm.
But actually, you know what? With that, I need. Okay, the question is: those of you that realize that, do you attempt to? Because this is a revelation, right? This is like you said, an oh fuck moment. So actually, you role played it, so you don't get to roll now. Anybody who hasn't responded yet, if you try and suppress the reaction, give me a what would we call it? Kind of a test would that be? Let's call it a wisdom test to choke back the words. Just give me a wisdom, just a straight wisdom roll. Anybody?
Bigford just arches an eyebrow because he knows something's off.
Something's wrong.
But
Yeah,
he
that
doesn't
makes
know.
sense.
Beowulf doesn't know very much.
that makes sense.
But I do have a question real quick, Kevin. What are these dashes right here?
Those you guys can't see. That's actually the underwater passage.
Okay, no. I was just making
Yeah.
sure I wasn't going over something. I
Nope,
wasn't
not a
supposed
problem. Yeah, as you can see, this is swirling. This water is kind of swirling, pulling in and out, so you can tell it connects to water underneath. But yes, very good question. So
Okay, I just didn't want to walk over something I wasn't supposed to.
Nope, not at all. So yeah, you get to there, you can smell it, Beowulf. It's just like, that's a dragon.
He's not going to say anything. Yeah, I didn't roll very well on wisdom because I have like nothing to add to it.
Yeah, so you kind of, whoa,
But
shit. Yeah.
He's not going to say anything.
Uh-oh.
He's just going to continue along his path as if everything is normal and natural.
Was it the roll for everyone who noticed? or everyone?
Go ahead and everybody. Yeah, go ahead. Let's see. I know the images will be off a little bit right now. I'm just gonna wait till they get back before I put everybody back where they're supposed to be. Oh boy, I think I know. I think I just have to put them over there. They turned off their video, so we'll just wait till I get back. It's all good.
I rolled a 1.
You rolled a nothing. Yeah, you know nothing.
13.
Varen.
Well,
yeah.
I know something's off, but
Yeah.
the whole wisdom save us whether I do anything about it.
Varen. There's.
Is it a check or a save?
It was just a check, but it doesn't matter. It
Oh.
doesn't really matter.
I rolled a 1.
Yeah. You guys are all well. I mean, you know what though? Like you all look sort of shocked and freaked out to various degrees, but that's reasonable. You are in the. I almost said the holiest of holies, but that's not right. This is like the court, the throne room of throne rooms. This is the biggest, baddest giants there are before the ordning. These are the ones. This is the boss. This is their throne room. This place is carved out of coral and opal and pearls and everything. As you look around, this water swirling underneath Sarissa and her two, there's just so much tension in the room. And okay, now I need to drag. I believe.
Roll 22, by the way.
Think now. Give me a second here, and then chat. Let me know if I've got everybody back where they're supposed to be. And you roll the.
Sorry
22.
about that. I
No
think
worries.
my move fucked up the cameras a tiny bit.
It's okay. I just fixed them. I think I've got everybody back. Let me know, chat.
Varen and Vareth are.
Oh, we got this again. Okay. You go up there. Nope, it didn't work. You go down there.
Even
There we go.
chat's doing it.
There we go.
Or even the
I fixed.
moments are.
Yeah, even Zoom gets you guys confused. It's not my fault. Even software fucks it up. Sarissa looks at her two assistants and taps the staff on the ground between her feet on the throne and starts sort of, you can see this deep thought going on. And she looks at the two of them and says, "For once in your lives, shut up and listen." And she looks at Iticus and then down at the rest of you and says, "I think this might be easier." And she kind of reaches down to the floor to let you step off, Iticus, so that you're all sort of standing together with your group.
Mm-hmm.
And then sits back down on the throne. "Why are you here?" In common at this point, so everybody can speak.
Iticus is going to kind of look at everybody else. And in common,
We were sent here to fix the ordering.
And there's a kerfluffle from both of the associates, the advisors. You looked at... No. You step way back by the door.
Baron and Gary are like, what are they talking about?
Gary's just standing there looking at a giant, feeling really inadequate. I'm such a tiny skeleton. Anyway. She looks at the two of them and says, "What do you know of the breaking of the ordning?"
We had a friend who knew a lot more, but he is gone. But we know something bad happened, and we're here to help.
And she kind of grins down at you like, it's, ooh, Roll20's doing weird stuff over there. I just lost my whole map. Cool.
Oh no.
Which is weird.
The lighting is still there, but the map is gone. Let's just refresh that, and I'll just talk until it's done. It's weird because it was only on one of the... I got two screens going. That was weird. Anyway.
So Beowulf is actually just going to elaborate a little bit on what Iticus has said.
Yes, please.
I just don't know what words to actually say. but he will say, basically he will give a rundown of what has happened from when we were picked up by Harshnag all the way to where Harshnag is now fighting a big red
wow, okay.
giant
Yeah.
dragon that's ancient. And we found a conch and came here to help fix the ordinance. Simple stuff like that.
She listens through the whole thing. The eyebrow goes up when you mention Harshnag, and you see a little grin. And then when you're finished, she says, "So the Allfather sent you. That must mean something." And
at this point, Beowulf's gonna turn around and reveal his back to her.
And she scans your back, and you turn around again. And at this point, the female advisor, you can see she's just fighting back, and she loses the ability to stop herself from talking. And she says, "For all you know, they're the ones that took your father and killed your mother."
What kind of nonsense are you talking? He says that in giant, actually.
You can hear the creaking of her neck muscles as Princess Sarissa's head turns and looks down and says, "Abducted?" And realizing that she's blurted information that she wouldn't know unless she was involved, the dragon reaches out and grabs the staff, pulls it out of Sarissa's hands, and mutters a few words, and teleports away.
Oh shit.
Sarissa goes,
cursing and sliving.
yeah. Chris is like, "Damn it. I thought so. I can't leave this seat till I get that back."
Why? Stuck in this chair.
It's the symbol of power, and until I know that my father is dead, and now I know he isn't, I'm not the suited one for this throne. It's his. So to sit on it, I had to have the scepter. Now I need either him back or that scepter again, or I'm stuck.
Oh dear. Any idea where she may have gone? He's back to common again.
Sarissa holds up one finger like one moment and turns to look at the other giant sitting in the chair, and he's just looking really uncomfortable. And she just looks at him and says, "It wouldn't do having witnesses." And she just mutters a couple of words, the last of which, those of you that speak giant here, is "kill." And he and falls out of his chair dead on the floor.
Well, that's a handy trick.
She looks across to make sure the doors are closed, looks down at all of you, and all the pretense, all the majesty, everything drops. It's just gone. There is no more princess standing in the room. She looks down at the body and says, "I guess I'll have to have that cleaned up." But...
I can
Yep.
do that. As we've been talking about this, he walks over, he just kind of climbs up on this chair
Yep.
and is just like kind of sitting there like...
Mm-hmm. And she grins at you and says, "Actually, having him walk out of here of his own free will would leave less questions."
He's just doing a thriller dance as he goes.
Sounds like you need a warlock.
So you setting about. Oh my god. Poor Gary's in the corner like he's not good enough.
He had to help me get up the chair.
Oh good, I'm good as a step. Yeah, no, sorry, Gary can't speak. I decided that because I've got a zombie in the Wednesday night game that's a complete prick. He got reanimated by one of the characters, and I just turned him into this asshole that follows him around, questioning everything he does. So this one I decided to avoid that. This one can't talk, so it's just he's making size jokes about himself, and Sarissa looks down at the group of you, and there's no role necessary. The face is the face of a grieving child. I mean, she's a full-blown adult. She's the equivalent of sort of in her 30s, right? If she was a human. She looks down at you on the brink of tears and says, "They found my mother dead out by the unknown isles. And all they found was this." And she drops this coin. It's tiny when it comes out of her hands. She takes it out of a locket and drops it, and it's to the floor, and it hits, and it's a little tiny poker chip about this big around with a goose on it. Yes, it's a goose. And my father has been apparently abducted. I need you to fix the ordning. I need you to find my family, my father. I've got to bury my mother tomorrow. No, you can't have her mother. Don't even ask.
Bigford takes the poker chip and he looks at it. And,
Beowulf is just gonna hug the leg. A little bit of a leg he can reach.
Yeah.
He got sentimental on this one.
Yeah.
Iticus was gonna give her a hug as well.
So you guys got a leg each. It's like hugging a cedar tree, Iticus. I mean, your arms don't even go halfway. Like you got an ankle, just a little bump of an ankle. That's all you can reach, right?
How
Yeah.
how close are those chairs to her?
As close as you'd like them to be. Because the map
Okay,
disappeared,
she's gonna-
so I don't know what to say. I'm not even gonna try and bring it back. I don't care. It's gone.
She's gonna climb up onto one of the arms of the chair and just like rest her cold hand on
Yep.
her shoulder,
Because you now
just
have.
very politely.
Because you now have, was it empathy?
I have compassion.
Compassion. That's what it was. Yes. Yes.
Compassion and concern.
and concern. So you are showing
The two
compassion and
feelings.
concern. Yes, the two feelings, the only two that matter. Bigford, you were a
He was-
merc.
Yeah, he wants to
Probably
see
a,
if he
probably had
recognizes
some ill-gotten gains in your time. Probably done a bit of gambling and drinking. Probably been to Yartar. Okay, sorry, Kane.
once or twice.
I forgot what I was gonna say.
Okay, if you remember, just jump in. Bickford, all of those things. Been to Yartar a couple times. You know where this is from. I'm not even going to make you roll. There's a club called the Golden Goose in Yartar that lives on a boat. And because it's on a boat in a river, the rules don't apply. Because Yartar's a no gambling city. So as soon as you go out on a boat, you can gamble. You've been there lots. You've been thrown off that
definitely
boat
been
several
there.
times. They have a very strict rule. If you run out of money, they throw you off the dry side of the boat onto land. If you owe them money, they throw you off the wet side of the boat into the river. You've probably been in the river a couple of times, I presume.
Potentially.
Yeah, he used to be a bad boy, but yes, that's where this
My
is.
dice
You
luck
see
is
it.
bad.
You've seen this chip before. Because this one has got gold paint on the goose, this is actually worth, like, in the casino, this would be worth 5 gold pieces. This is a big deal. This is a big coin.
I've been here.
Beowulf
This could
turns
be
to
interesting.
Beowulf?
we-
Do you know of it given her backstory?
Sorry, what was that?
Would Kane know of it given her backstory?
Possibly, yeah. I just Bickford because he picked it up. So yes, yeah. But the quick explanation, you can all know about it. Once you just like, oh yeah, the famous boat in Yartar, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He talks about the party boat.
Yeah. So, Sarissa is sort of listening to you talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah. Bickford, he speaks up enough that
It's
you know
back.
she's not like having to strain to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to be a dick and start whispering to people.
This
Oh,
is
I think I'm here.
yeah, this is a throne room, and like you said, an amphitheater. You have the suspicion that even if you whispered in here, it would be very clear, and very. That's a great thing to have in a throne room. So if people are whispering, you can hear them, planning your death. So yeah,
Yep.
exceptional acoustics. What do you do?
So, I guess we're going to Yartar. Wherever that is from here.
And she says, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I can send you. That you did you come here through the teleport circle?
We honked a
Let's do a
cock.
horn.
Oh, of course. And it brought you, yes, because you're not a giant. It brought you to the circle. But yes, I can send you anywhere you need to go, Baron."
No.
We fell through the massive whirlpool.
Oh,
And, yeah, just a little bit
Everyone
confused after that. That was,
died except
Oh.
us. And I start to point at Gary, and then I'm like, not him. No, he's gone.
I'm gonna stop you right there because according to, and she smiles, everyone, the two of you are dead too. It's very well known that no one survives the whirlpool.
Is she about to murder me? How do I
Give me an
read
insight
this?
check. Oh, if you get this wrong, this could go horribly bad.
Oh no.
No, that's good
15.
enough. 15, yeah. She's essentially telling you that you are free to do whatever you want because, as far as the world is concerned, you're dead. So it's like free start to the two of you. Right? You don't exist. You're dead.
Got any debts that needed clearing?
Oh, the necromancer who's legally dead. Oh, the irony. The irony.
But I'm the warlock who still has a patron. So I don't know if it actually helps. It's like everybody that knows still knows.
The necromancer who's nearly dead, and that one chick who's between it.
So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
Beowulf's gonna say, is there anything that shows on the map on my back that where anyone could be, or is it just? And he just pauses, shrugging his shoulders.
She stops for a moment and looks down at you and says, "Turn around."
He does so, and again he removes his coat to show his back.
And as she starts muttering a word, she stops and says, "This is going to hurt."
I'm ready for it already.
I think we actually went through Yartar.
You probably did. It's a pretty major city.
Yeah.
There's Beowulf. It's like getting kidney punched. It's just like somebody stabs you in two places in your back at the same time, just and it's gone before the pain even registers. It's already fading. It's just and you can feel it goes into that pounding and slows down
Like
with your
the first
heartbeat.
time, only he was a little bit numb at the time.
Yes, this time you're absolutely just aware of every impact, and you can't
Got
see
some
your,
of that good stuff there, Bigford.
and you can't see your own back, but the rest of you, you see two images appear on Bigford's back.
Beowulf.
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 God damn it! It's gonna stick a thumb in this ear and a thumb in this ear until they meet and then wiggle. Beowulf. A Beowulf's back. You see two images. One is a boat that is in Yartar, on the river, right near the coast. Yartar. It's on a river. I don't think it's near the coast. I have to look at the map. I'll put you back out there in a minute. We'll do that with the dramatic end. But there it shows there's the map you can see, and you can see Yartar, and there's a boat there. There's another place called the Unknown Isles, which is where Sarissa mentioned that her mother's body was found with that coin. And on the map, you can see the Unknown Isles aren't marked. It's just sort of a grayed out area. And it says Unknown Isles ? And the history is that you'll get lost when you go there because it's never the same twice. And it's full of pirates and bad people and evil. But it's where somehow someone who had something to do probably with the dragon that just left here lured the Queen of the Storm Giants to and killed her there. The body has been retrieved, but there's a tiny ship going in circles on the tattoo, moving in circles around the unknown islands. Everybody give me a nature check, which is a weird question to ask, but to identify this ship, I need a nature check.
Everyone?
Yep, absolutely. Everybody that looked.
That's a 20.
Well, Beowulf can't see it.
Damn.
Can I even see it from there?
Sure, you can when you walk over.
Well, what happened is as soon as the
Everybody got it, yeah.
finished,
Yeah.
he kind of just got down on his hands and knees and is just like staying there, kind of gritting out the pain while you guys basically make it so you guys can see it.
And as you do that, actually, Sarissa reaches up into her hair and pulls out a hairpin. For her, it's a hairpin. She hands it down to you, Beowulf, and it's a diamond about this big, and it's got a facet about this big on it. And she's wearing a lot of silver jewelry and whatnot. She actually lines up the two things as a mirror. So, like when you go to the hairdresser and they show you the back of your head with the two mirrors shit. They do that. She does that to show you your own back.
Okay. So I'll make that nature check too then.
Yes, please. Everybody else has got it. I hope it's universal. Oh, yes. Everybody. I mean, it makes perfect sense. The ship that is floating around the Unknown Isles looks like a kraken. The giant undersea squid, CR20 plus, way deep in the pages of the monster manual.
The scary part of the monster.
The ship-crushing kraken.
That explains why nobody leaves.
As you watch, the little ship in Yartar stays where it is, but a series of dots, like a bad old movie, the overlay of dots just starts from Yartar and goes out into the ocean and all the way up to the Unknown Isles. And when it gets there, the Kraken ship and the ship from Yartar get close, and you see like a little animated battle. Bows and arrows and magic flying back and forth between the two ships. And then it just stops and it all pops back. And you now have an animated tattoo of the one ship heading towards the other ship.
It's a little itchy sometimes.
It's but it's only, I want to make it clear, the ship in Yartar never moves, it just shows the map, like the path it's going to follow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So is the Kraken a ship, or like shaped like a kraken, or is it literally a kraken on the tattoo specifically?
Very good question. A bit of both.
I'm seeing a kraken with like a howdah on top.
Well, this is more like if you imagine a kraken like a Trojan kraken. It's made out of wood. It's a boat, and it actually floats, and it's got the tentacles and stuff. But when it gets to the fight, you see the tentacles stop just dragging into water behind it, and they reach around and grab the other ship. I mean, now this is an animated tattoo. You don't know how literally you can take this. But yes, it appears that the ship is, from what you can see on the tattoo, the ship is part kraken.
What ship wins?
It's completely. I just saw Kane,
Just
also
stop,
not
stop right-
Beowulf, on Zoom.
It just stops right before the battle ends, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just an animation to and then it stops, and yeah, the ship pops back. So yeah, now I see why it was confusing. Yeah, this ship never leaves. The dots go bit, but then you see a fight up here, and then this fight just stops and it goes back. So yeah. I see.
So it's only a small snippet of time there.
Yeah.
He kind of softly says. slowly regaining his composure, of course. So I guess we need to go to Yartar first.
Seems like it.
I can send you there in the blink of an eye.
Okay.
Bigford looks up to
Sarissa.
Sarissa?
Yeah.
Sarissa. And is like, before we go, there's a giant lich dicking about in the Lurkwood. Do you happen to know anything about that? I got a bone to pick with him.
There's a grin. This is the first time in history, and only since the ordning's been broken, that any giant has dared, and the eyes sort of swing down towards Varen, mess with the undead. Therefore, there is no official diplomatic response. However, no offense intended. They look down at Varen, who's in the process of embalming and reanimating her dead advisor, let me mention. It says, no offense intended, but we don't do that. Once the ordning has been reinstated, I assure you that problem becomes our problem. And if you would like to lead the charge, she grins at Bigford, you're more than welcome to do so.
In a surprising amount of decorum, he bows slightly and says, the Barkswipe tribe would greatly appreciate it.
And she grins and says, and how could I refuse the request of a prince of the Barkswipe tribe?
That gives him pause.
Varen, you keep looking like you're going to say something.
That's not my lich, is it?
No. This is
Cool.
There's
definitely a moment of like,
This is somebody undeaded a lich or undeaded a giant, and said giant has now taken it upon themselves to become a lich and bring up a bunch of other dead giants. So there's now an undead giant army storming through Bigford's home forest.
Yeah. And there's like a big wicker titan made of giants.
Yeah, there's that one too.
Oh yeah, let's not forget that.
Plus Harshnag's now 100 feet tall.
And let's not forget the giant made of giants.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yes.
wicker giant.
That's the wicker giant. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the wicker man giant. Yeah. Oh yeah, we're going hard. We left the plot long ago. This is way cooler than Storm King's Thunder. So
this all sounds great, but you know what?
So, with that, she looks at you and says, so, to Yartar?
I mean, and I'll animate.
You've got the spell,
this.
yeah, you've got enough spell slots or whatever to do this? Or
Yeah,
whatever you do?
well, will you allow me to use Dance Macabre?
Bring
instead?
it up. Let me see.
Boom.
Okay. Threads of Dark Power. 5 smaller medium corpses, so yeah, 1 large corpse.
Essentially, I have to tell it to go do it, and once it gets out the door, I have to be like, "Oh no, he had a heart attack."
For up to 1 hour. So yes, this is what I was. Yeah, this makes perfect sense. You basically gives you puppeteer control of the body, right? Rather than it's not an undead under your control.
Yes.
You have to consciously focus. But yes, this will allow you to do exactly what you said, which is walk them out and get them out of here.
So yeah, I'll do that.
She grins and says, this presents a problem. I can't come with you. One moment. And she, you see her close her eyes and mutter a couple of words. And the doors open and one of the guards comes in. And she says, escort them to the teleport circle. And she looks at the bunch of you and says, focus on Yartar, will you? Or you could end up anywhere. And she says, hands the guard her conch and says, bring it back right after you've used it.
Oh, we're leaving now.
Did you need something before you went? A rest?
Well, we're doing water stuff, so like, and he'll like kind of get back on the chair and like and lean over on the thing. Could you like
On the giant sub-throne, let me be clear. The two of you have called them the chairs. They're thrones. They're the advisors' thrones. You guys are perched
but
on
I'm
them
incredibly arrogant,
like
so it's just a
like
big
the chairs.
chair
Your
for
little
me.
knees are like wee.
Honestly,
kicking your feet. Yeah.
Kate is not. Kate knows how to act around people.
Yes. Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
given how she is.
Yeah.
But, or at least with how she is.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have any experience around like royal things.
Sure. Yep.
By any means.
Yep. You know how to be respectful. You're just not used to royalty. That works.
So yeah, as I lean over, I'm like, I'm more of a, and I kind of gesture broadly at all the moss and lichen and wood stuff and the body animated. Could you? I want to help you. Can you lend me your patronage? I love my patron. I want to go back to my patron eventually, but if we're gonna be doing water stuff, water patron might be nice. See what I'm saying here?
How about
let's make a deal?
How about this? And she reaches down and pulls one of the pearls off of her necklace, and like it's this big between her fingers, and she reaches down and it's like that. It's like a 5-pin bowling ball. And she says, if you break that, you won't become one of us. You won't become a storm giant, but you will gain all of our powers, which include breathing underwater and being immune to the immense pressures.
Thank you. Does it work socially, like immense anxiety? and I'll stick that in my bag of holding.
Okay, so yeah, make a note, because when you tell me I've got this, then I'll have to go. Oh right, yeah, because I just made it up. So, yes, let's call it a pearl of storm giant likeness. Yeah, that'll do it.
And gianting.
Storm gianting. Yes, I like that too. Whatever makes sense.
Awesome.
All right. Anybody else want to speak borderline impudently to a princess?
Well, Beowulf eventually will stand up and put his coat back on.
Yeah.
And he obviously has a greater respect for this lovely princess in front of him.
Yeah.
He's gonna say in giant so that I guess only Iticus can understand.
Mm-hmm.
But basically say, thank you so much for helping our group. It does mean a lot to me because I'm trying to keep these guys, safe, especially the little one that you seem to have taken a lot of interest to who wants to be your friend. Thank you.
She, for a moment, is full regal again, and she bows to you very respectfully, but just the right amount of respect, like she's still the princess and you're still not, right? But yeah, there's a very respectful bow.
I'm not royalty, but you are.
Yes.
No.
But you get that.
She's royalty and I'm not.
Yes,
That's
and then that kind of falls away again, and there's a little grin, and she looks down at you, and she kind of looks around, and she grabs this giant-sized doll. And it's as big as you are, right? But it's stunning. It's like the porcelain dolls with the painted faces and the gowns, but it's a giantess doll, right? So it looks like her, but it's as big as you are. And she mutters a couple words and it shrinks down. And she bends over. She can't take her butt out of the chair, right? So she has to bend down to you, and she holds it out to you and grins and says, "Fred."
Beowulf takes out his little one and puts it in her hand and takes the one that she gave him.
Okay. So you now have a Sarissa Fred, and Sarissa takes that, and she opens up another locket. There's got the pearls, and then there's a locket in the center, and she opens that up and puts the doll in it and closes it. Yeah.
Before he gets ready to leave, Verthel he kind of walks up and looks up, and just, I've had some disagreements with my I suppose core deity, and there's some things to be sorted out. But if you have some kind of connection with the divine, perhaps, maybe, I don't know, put in a good word.
There's a cleric over here, bro. Maybe not be your kind of god, but if you like to be sneaky, I know a guy.
And she waits for you to finish, and then she turns to Verath and says, I don't want to sound like I don't want to help, but have you seen my luck lately?
I understand. I appreciate the thought.
She looks down at the corpse on the floor that's just starting to stir, and she says, yes. And there's a very frightening smile crosses her face, like she's just made a decision, a management decision. And she says, anyone else? You, my friend? And she looks down at Idicus.
Want to help you.
And she just looks at you and says a word in Giant. And how fluent are you in Giant? Because I know you're like the idea is in Common you're not great, in Goblin you're fully fluent, but where are you in Giant?
So I think Giant is from whoever programmed him.
Okay.
The scientist put that in with the Goblin category.
Okay. In that case, yes. It's a very, very, very old word. And it means, well, it's the word that I had in my head is succor. Succour. It means help. And you hear it, and it just kind of, the word washes over you and kind of sinks into your metal and wooden bones. And you can feel their presence in you. Almost like all you got to do is put your fingers in your mouth and blow, right? It's one of those moments, like all you got to do is you purse your lips and blow. That was it, yeah. You now have the ability to call help from Sarissa. So make a note of that, because I'll forget.
I will too.
Okay.
So.
Who hasn't got a thing yet? Kane hasn't got a thing, right? No, Kane's got a thing. You're going to be a giant. Beowulf got a thing.
Got it. I didn't
Varen's
get a
grinning
thing
over
from
there.
her, but I
Not
have
from her,
gotten
but
a
you got a
thing.
thing in this whole encounter. Yeah, we're doing this this is like a movie thing. Like everybody gets a thing. So you got your thing in the last scene. Varen no, and Beowulf no, right? Or Bickford no, right?
Beowulf-
You put not Beowulf in the picture. What do you expect me to say?
I was
Pickford.
waiting for that.
Oh, I know. I saw it a while ago. I've been trying not to look, but I had to look you in the eyes. Well, no, you got a gift. What am I talking about? You got a giant to take out of here. You got a gift. Oh, okay. In that case, she looks at you as you finish it up, and her assistant starts to sit up under your control. And she mutters a few more words, and you feel like your spell, like time slows down for your spell. So instead of the 1 hour that you're going to be able to puppet a giant, you have 24. Consider it a present. I've never liked that. Okay.
I was gonna say, I love that as a player / character, I kind of kick the pearl over to Vera. 'Cause I think you forgot you gave me something because you gave me the pearl.
I did, but I give you this too.
Okay,
so yeah.
fair enough.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. This is only 24 hours, but actually, Bickford, let's get back to you. She looks at you and says, "You're very quiet."
I've had a lot on my mind lately.
So have we all. What do you dream of? What do you wish for? And she looks at you very, very deeply for a moment, and it's like the fingers going in, riffling through the file cards.
Mm-hmm. His
and who is Steve?
Steve is a friend. He's the closest thing to family. And he's trying to keep what's left of our tribe safe.
But it's you that's bringing them together.
That's what everyone tells me.
I know. And she reaches down behind the throne, and there's kind of this clang, 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 clang of metals banging against each other. But it's not like tin and lead and copper. Like gold has a very specific sound because it's so soft. It kind of goes clunk, 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 clunk when it bangs against itself.
Mm.
And you hear a lot of that. And then eventually her hand comes back out. And first it looks like it's empty until you realize that on the tip of the baby finger, there's a small, understated, but very gold crown. And she off of her finger and goes to put it on you, and it's, no, not yet. Steve has to do that. And she just reaches over your head and drops it into your backpack.
Bickford's kind of stunned. He doesn't really say anything. He's just sort of taking it in.
She takes a step back and gives you a full royal to royal bow. Like so far that you break eye contact, looking at the floor, equals bow from sitting in a chair. So that's like compression forward, right?
Bickford mashes it. So, coming from a bugbear who's mostly leg.
Yeah, that's a deep bow. All right, did I miss anybody? Seriously, speak now or forever hold your pee. No, no, that's not quite how that was supposed to go. Anyway, okay. With that, she says, it has been a pleasure meeting you all, but I have some, and she kind of, business to take care of. Open the doors, boys. And your Dance Macabre victim stands up behind you and or in front of you, and you have control of them. And the group of you march out the open doors.
Jane, right before they leave, she's gonna kind of bow and, of course, in common because she can't speak giant, say, "We will not fail you."
She gives you that neck bow that all she's allowed to give to civilians, right? But it's the deepest civilian bow she can give.
Civilian in any world, but
yeah,
the Shadowfell.
Yeah, she doesn't know you, so
on this plane.
Yeah. And
Can we ride this giant out of here?
You absolutely could. It would absolutely not be something that this giant would willingly have done. So it would be very off-putting to see. I mean, getting a shoulder ride from the second most powerful person in the kingdom.
I just in the palm.
Yeah. Oh, you can do it. But yeah, it would. It might be seen as a bit surprising.
Okay. Well, then not if it's gonna be that. I'll just stay behind, maintaining this.
So you precess out of the throne room, across the court room. As you leave, the music changes to a more somber tone, and the lights sort of go down a bit in the room behind you. And in the distance, you hear Sarissa's voice, not yelling, but the acoustics in here are amazing. And you hear her say, "Send in Tartha. Close the doors." And you climb up the
leans
ramp.
over the Beowulf. I think somebody's in trouble.
Possibly.
You get to the top of the stairs and you start to move down the stairs, and the whole place just goes like a very heavy body has just hit the floor upstairs. And just at the edge of hearing, you hear, "Send in Helemild."
Clean house.
As you get to the bottom of the stairs, another body hits the floor. And then probably only Beowulf has got the hearing for this. In the very distance, Beowulf, just as you guys get back downstairs into that teleport circle, you hear, Braxo, you can go home. But not a word. And you just hear a laugh. And steps as he stands up and walks out of the courtyard, out of the courtroom. You step into the teleport circle. The guard steps up behind you, looks down and says in giant, "Concentrate." And I watched it again. Yeah. Everybody give me. Yep.
Lynn, Kane just looks to Idicus. What?
Idicus is slightly panicking because he doesn't know where Yartar is.
Mm-hmm.
So he's very, very anxious.
Yep.
Because his brain is going to water deep.
Well, you're.
Oh, no.
Maybe we can switch that a little bit because you did see the map on Beowulf's back. So
Yes,
assuming, Idicus understands maps. So he at least know you could think of that map and that spot.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, we'll give you that. I got a plan for Idicus anyway. There's no way you were going to focus enough to do that. This is like, this is a party full of ADHD, but Idicus is like capitals all the way across. So,
Idicus is unmedicated.
Yeah, yeah. So with that, each of you concentrates. Give me your best mental stat. So either charisma, intelligence, or wisdom. Not the save, just the stat.
Okay.
Yeah. Everybody's good so far. I only see 3 though. Who's still coming?
Hold
I
on.
need Varen
You said-
and Varen
I'm
and
sorry, what was
Beowulf.
that? Constitution?
Whatever your
Intelligence, wisdom, or charisma.
yeah, your best at the bottom.
Whichever is
3.
your best.
I'm going to justify this 9 by saying that Verith also doesn't really know about Yartar besides knowing the name.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, you've only seen the map.
Yartar
So-
pirates?
Yeah.
Yartar.
Okay. This is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. Absolutely perfect. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Has somebody not rolled? Oh no, there it is at the top. Yeah. Everybody who rolled, yep, you're all good. With one exception, and they did too well. This is perfect. In Yartar, in a back alley, in a carefully chosen place where absolutely no one can see you. 5 of you appear.
Bigford lands ass up again.
Yep. Ass up, head
As
down.
does Verith this time.
Yeah. You just drop to the ground. Idicus.
In a bunch of garbage bags.
you guys want to use in a dumpster. I'll let you decide who. Idicus.
Beowulf.
Yeah, Beowulf's in the dumpster. Idicus. Oh, look at that. Look at that. You can't hide behind Fred. It's too late. Fred's what got you into this. Now Fred's going to have to get you out. Because Idicus, the last thing you thought of before you got zorped was that boat. Got to think of the place where the boat is. Think of the place where the boat is. Think of the place where the boat. And that's where they hit the teleport button. So that's the only word that was in your brain at the time. You open your eyes and kind of to the bottom. And you know you're in a boat because it's starting to move a little bit. Not much. And they're all around you. You're in a very dark room, in a basement, in the bottom of the boat. You don't know what the bottom of the boat's called, but it goes like that. So it's the pointy bit at the bottom. So you know you're at the bottom, and it's full of rocks because it's ballast. And above you can hear feet stomping and people yelling. And some of them are having a good time yelling. Some of them are angry yelling. Some of them are screaming about money. There's a small leak down by one of your feet, and there's a tiny frog sitting on one of the rocks looking at you in the dark, blinking.
Red.
Red.
Okay.
Okay. The frog just settles down.
He's going to put Fred away, put up. It's time to be sneaky and
Yeah.
see what's going on upstairs.
You're gonna go have a look?
Yep.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
15.
Yeah, they're not paying attention. You
Plus
sneak
12.
along and you find a grate, like a place where air and water, a scupper, I think is what they're called, But you find a place where you can look up without having to go up.
Mhm.
And as you kind of peek out through the hole, you see tables and chairs and people standing around throwing. You've seen dice, people throwing dice and playing with cards and doing all that weird stuff. I don't know if you'd be able to put together that it's. I don't know if you know what a casino is, but that's what this is.
Okay.
It's a
You wouldn't
casino.
know what it is,
Yeah,
but
it's a floating. It's in a boat, but it's a bunch of people betting. And as you look down, you kind of look around and you look down beside you, and the frog's looking up. He's kind of, whenever you look left, he looks left. Whenever you look right, he looks right.
he's just gonna pick up said frog now and put him in his bag.
And just before he goes in, he does that thing where they blink one eye and then the other. This is blip, 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 and then they open up, and then his tongue comes out and licks this eye. And then he goes in your pocket. You have a frog. You have a frog that mimics you. That's all I know. So, make notes.
Mimicking frog.
The rest of you are in an alley. You can hear the
Kane?
noises. Yeah.
Immediately looks at everyone, looks through like garbages around,
Yeah.
and just goes, "Okay, where the fuck is Iticus?"
Yes.
Bickford's legs disappear from the garbage. His head pops out. He's got a banana peel on
Yeah.
it.
Bickford and Beowulf in particular, you guys are used to this. You just start like, where is Iticus? Where is Iticus? Kane, you're getting used to this. It's always gone. The two new ones is like, what? The little dude's gone? What? I don't understand the problem. But
Did I bring the giant with us?
yes.
I
Yes.
Yeah, why not?
Yes. Yes. Make a
Okay.
note. Make a note. So yes, you now
I just
have
wanted to make sure because
you
I
now
thought I
have a
did. And I'm like,
dead-
where's
27 to 28 foot tall, formally dressed but clearly dead puppet giant for another 23 and a half hours.
All I'm thinking is the guy from Men in Black.
Yeah. Has to put his face back on, straighten it out every once in a while. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. And that, I think, with that revelation, you look up
coffee
and it's
grounds all over
almost sticking out
Beowulf's
above the
face.
buildings, right? It's almost 3 stories tall. Sorry, Beowulf? Yeah.
When Beowulf pops his head out from the garbage can, he's got coffee grounds all over his face.
Yeah.
He's like, I like coffee, but I don't want to be in it.
Yes.
He shakes his head.
Yeah. So
Coffee
you
grounds
guys,
fly everywhere.
so you start looking for Iticus. Varen and Varith, what are you doing?
Yeah, I do want to make sure as we pop out, and I am trying to figure out what to do with this dude.
Yep.
Kane
I-
pops up and just goes, "Toss him in the dumpster."
What?
He's
du-
3
I'm
times
looking
the
at
size of
the
the
dumpster. This big, and the guy this big.
He's 3 stories tall. You could tell him you
Try
try.
to fold him. You can do
Just
it.
try to.
I just
No,
got
no, look for
him. That I had to work so hard for that dead body.
Okay,
He's
he's
just
your friend
sitting
now.
in the dumpster like it's a
Cast
shopping
power
cart with
word
me and
kill.
Beowulf just pushing.
Yeah. So, anyway.
I schmoozed. I don't have to justify myself. Anyway, I take out. I look to Vera, who I saw talk about God and have a rough time with that, and I'm like, I pull the pearl out of my bag, and I'm like, here, and I just push it to him, and I'm like, I don't have to breathe, so breathing underwater isn't actually that big of a deal for me. So like, here you go. Pearl of Storm Giant. That's great.
Yeah.
I got this dude, and I point again this guy,
Yeah.
and I'm like wrangling him with the end of my staff. I
Yeah.
guess is how I'm
Yeah,
doing.
you sort of get him to
this.
crouch down a little bit so he's not quite so obvious, but he still blocks the whole back alley.
Yeah, right.
So,
Oh boy.
yeah, anybody
Thank
want to
you.
add anything? Yeah, so yeah, you take the pearl. Anybody want in that conversation want to add anything before we cut to the final scene with Iticus?
Beowulf smells like coffee now. He's
Yep.
just got this grumbly look on his
coffee and
face.
wet
Like,
dog.
where the frack
Morning at
did,
my house.
yeah,
Yeah.
where the frack did Iticus go this time? And he kind of tries to sniff and find Iticus,
Yeah.
but all he smells is coffee.
Kane
Bickford's going to
Kane is
cast
just like-
sending. or not sending a message, because if I know the person, I don't have to see them.
Right. Okay.
But it's only got a range of 120 feet.
Yeah.
So
Blank.
I cast. He's like, so he's not in the immediate vicinity, which means he could
Well,
be anywhere.
Yeah.
while he was doing this,
Yep.
Kane basically mom walks to one
Message.
side of the alley, peeks out, looks around
Yeah.
to the other side, and then as she's going to the other side again, she hears Bigfoot say that Iticus is in the immediate vicinity.
Yep.
And he goes, Iticus,
Jadicus.
that kid.
And Iticus, your ears, your little metal ears start to burn. Somebody's talking about you. They probably think you're in trouble, the fools. You're perfectly fine, hidden in the bowels of this ship, looking up into a busy casino. And then your frog friend from inside your pouch goes in the loudest, most violent way you can imagine. You're just shaking. The grate you're looking through shakes in the ground. And while the gambling and whatnot does not stop upstairs, in the immediate area around it, a number of large, burly people wearing similarly cluttered clothes, in other words, security, is looking down towards the grate that you're looking through. And that is where we will drop the curtain on this evening.
Oh shit.
there it is. Yeah, there we go. Now we'll drop the curtain on this evening on oh shit. They haven't seen you, but they know that something's down here. Maybe they think there's a giant frog down here. You'll be fine. Holy cow. Thank you all so much for tonight. Tonight was a blast. I had a really good time. Technically, I mean, we rolled a bunch of dice. We went through a couple of scenes. Yeah, we played a game, but mostly we told a really cool story. We took Storm King's Thunder and went, that's a neat idea, but wouldn't it be more fun if? And the more minds that are being creative together, the better it gets, the more creative it gets. 7 people telling a story is better than 1. So thank you all for helping us tell this story. It's amazing. I love this. I've run this a couple times now, and this is by far the most creative group that's gone through it. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Specifically, thank you, Bison. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Rory. Thank you, Sky. Thank you, Ruth. And thank you, Solar. That was a great session all around. Every single one of you had these wonderful moments with the Giants, and I appreciate all of it. Yeah, it was great. I appreciate all of it. Chat, thank you so much interaction all night. I had how far from the plot you go now? Yeah, we're on our way again. But this time we're gonna show. Not only the very first day we said the monsters are going to save the world in this one, because you're all monsters in some way, shape, or form. And that's still true. But the world you're going to save is completely different than the one we started in, because it's full of all kinds of giants now. You're not the same as you were when you started. Most of you have at least changed a class or multi-classed or added an ability or something that's sort of non-stock. Any of you that have been here for long enough yet. And yet we're still getting the story accomplished. We had a huge side run with the other dragon. That was great fun, but we still are getting the story accomplished. So thank you all. Always tell the story first. The plot can wait. With that, thank you to everybody in chat.
Always
Did
more
that
fun.
one. Yes, it's more fun when you make it all up on the fly, everybody together. This is, I am convinced this is how, people say, what did you do before the internet? So, what did we do before electricity? We sat around a fire and we told stories. And we played yes and, because, Roll20's bored. It's just lost all its color again. Doesn't want to listen to me anymore. But we told stories, and we told them as groups, and that's all that we're doing now. We've just added some dice so that everybody doesn't win all the time. But with that, one more thank you before I forget. The YouTube people of the future, when you watch this on YouTube, if you watched all the way to here, please hit the like button, because we're going to assume you did, and hit that notification bell, because I don't remember to post, and when I do, I don't remember to post that I posted, so the only way you're going to know is if you get notified. So with that, tune in next week, because next week's going to be fun. Friday night we're doing Yeah, that is a week. Oh my goodness, yeah. So Friday night we're doing the Unwanted, which is our dark show, really dark. We're going to do that one on Friday night. Saturday, I'm part of a charity game during the day. Stay tuned to the Discord. I'll get you tuned in with that. It's Jasper's Game Day, so this is an incredibly good cause, and I get to work with some great people over at Paradise Gaming, and some other folks that I met on Twitter, and some of these folks are like borderline famous, and I'm a little freaked out, but that's going to be fun. And then on follow that up, 3 hours after that's done, with our brand new series next week, starting the Harlequin Redux, which is what I've got when I put these two together. It's Tiny Frontiers and Harlequin, so it's Harlequin Redux. We're going to start that on Saturday, and then Sunday we'll be back for another episode of this. Stay tuned for even more stuff as we move along from there. Starting the next week after that, our first one shot by a member is going to be run. Stay tuned to the Discord for details. Speaking of the Discord, let's do that. Bam, there's the Discord. Click that. Very friendly place, very supportive place. Everybody that comes there is there for the same reason. We all want to game, we all want to have fun, we all want to share the joy. So come and help us do it. With that, as always, until next time, and I like this twist, and thank you so much to Saber for this, because I know you always do it. So, please keep being nice to each other. Good night.
Good night.